Welcome back to my channel. I'm Alita. These are my books. And you've reached Alita in the Books. Today is going to be the start of this new To My Channel series. It's not a new concept, but there is this Goodreads group. I will link it down below in my video. And basically, this group comes up with this prompt for every Wednesday. Any book creators out there, or bookish creators out there, can take that prompt and make either a blog or a video about it. And to be quite honest with you, I love being on BookTube. But sometimes it's exhausting trying to think of new content. So I'm jumping into this group full force. The prompt for today is to give 5, well, I don't really think you have to limit 5, but because it's called like 5 Wednesday or something, I don't remember what the group is called. But hopefully it'll be right here on the screen or down below or both. For some reason, I have a list of 5 in my mind, though. So I think each week that I do this, which I'm hopefully going to start doing this consistently every week, but we'll see because life gets so hectic sometimes. Anyways, let me get back on to track with this. There are probably going to be a list of like 5 books most weeks of whatever the prompt is. This week, the prompt is to showcase some of your favorite illustrated covers. And I think for right now, if it changes, I will let you know. But for right now, I only want to use books that I've already read. And since it says illustrated covers, the covers that have pictures that I really enjoy the pictures are being excluded this week. It's only illustrated covers. I have 6 of them. But each one is a different kind of category. And I think it'll make sense as this video moves forward. So let's just jump right in to 5 of my favorite illustrated covers, or like things I like on my covers. The first 2 are kind of the same because they're both illustrated. And the reason that I like both of them is similar. For Mr. Wrong Number, both of these books, Mr. Wrong Number and Beach Read, show a very interesting cover that actually tells a huge story about the plot of each of these stories. And I love when a cover does that because I noticed that a lot of covers are very generic and, like, not to shout anyone out, but like very generic right here. And like, okay, yeah, you put dress on the cover, but what does it mean? Maybe it means something awesome. But for these, I can definitely tell without even reading either of these, which I've read both of these. Highly recommend all the books that I'm about to talk about. But let's start with Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. So on this cover, you can see a girl holding her phone, kind of, what? And a guy dressed up very snazzy, also holding a phone. And it's called Mr. Wrong Number. So I am assuming, I mean, I've read this book, so maybe I'm giving it away. But I'm assuming that they're having some kind of texting conversation. And maybe they know each other. maybe they don't. It says one wrong number might just lead to Mr. Right. And I love books that have little blurbs like that. That is also why I picked Beach Read by Emily Henry, because honestly, by this cover, it looks so much more like fluffy and fun than it is. Like, this is a great book. I absolutely love it, but it's very emotionally draining when you read it. So don't take the cover for face value, because this is a hefty, like hard-hitting, emotional book. But I love the cover because you have Augustus and January. Yes. So Augustus is a literary fiction writer. He's kind of on his side with a book on the beach, and they are neighbors on a beach. And then she is a romance author, and she's kind of on the beach with her book as well. So I love how there's a book there. I love how the setting, it is very important to the book, is on the cover. And I love it just screams this book. And sometimes you don't know that you're going to love a cover like that because you don't know what's important in the book until you've read it. And I understand that completely, but these two definitely tell a lot about what these books are about. Then something that I've realized that I really like is foodish romance. And I love, like, this book is called Donut Fall in Love, and I can't believe I forgot to tell you the title. People are illustrated. He's obviously making some kind of donuts, and I love how you can see the air going into her nose. Like, and it just looks so realistic. And then on the back, there's more donuts and like batter to make the donuts. So I just feel all around like you definitely get the bakery vibes. I think that it's very simple, but it tells a lot about the story again. And I just know, if it were me and I found a cover that you can tell this is a romance, and you can see the food, and food is very important in this story. So if I found a cover that had some kind of food on it and that I could get kind of romance vibes from, I'm 90% more likely to pick it up because I just have so much fun with these type of books. Then this is a whole category in itself, which I actually have like 8 books that have this, but a good chunk of those books are like actual pictures, so they can't be used. And I just wanted to pick one book to represent like a cityscape or nature, like a landscape of some sort. In this instance, with Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren, it is a cityscape, but there's like grassy woods in the simple wild. There's a barn in Clown in the cornfield. And there's an isolated island on the cover of 10 by Gretchen McNeil. So those are a lot of the ones that I was going to talk about. But this one is an illustrated cover, and it has the cityscape with an airplane and mountains. So Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating follows Josh and Hazel, who were like friends in college, and now Hazel is kind of reconnecting with him, but they're reconnecting as friends because they never were together in high school. They were just friends, even though she kind of always wanted to be more. But they're reconnecting as friends and they're setting each other up on blind dates. And each time they go out with someone else, the dates go horribly wrong and they end up going home with each other. Not like in anything more than a platonic friend thing, but, you know, slowly and surely they start to really see, well, maybe it's not working out with any of our blind dates because we're perfect for each other. And it was just so sweet. And Hazel is a 3rd grade teacher and I'm a 2nd grade teacher, and this just gives me the feels, and it's such a quick read, so I highly recommend it. But like anything really with a cityscape or like any kind of landscape on the front cover is something that I love. I especially love it when it's illustrated rather than pictures. But honestly, if there's a picture of the woods or mountains on the front of a book, I'm gonna pick it up. So we're gonna start with The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This cover is weird. I mean, not weird, but kind of scary. Like, there's something on this woman's face, because there's a woman's face. I don't know if you can see it, but those are her eyes, her nose, mouth, and then it's like cracking. And I don't know, I just get very creep vibes from this. And I like a book that if you just look at it without even reading it, you're like, ooh, that's gonna be creepy, or that's gonna be weird. So Alicia is accused of murdering her husband. It is thought that Alicia shot her husband like 4 times or something like that, and then just went mute and stopped talking. It's several years later, and the psychologist is trying to get Alicia to open up to him. So he goes to like the detention facility that she is at, where she hasn't talked several years. And it is very thrilling. It's kind of more of a slow burn thriller though. Not a whole lot happens, but when you connect the dots, it's like, what? Now, I do have to say that I have heard a lot of people that read a lot of thrillers did think that the ending in here was not that, like, mind-blown emoji. For me, I do read a lot of thrillers, but this was kind of one of my first thrillers. I was still kind of a baby to the booktube community, and I hadn't read a ton of thrillers at the time, and I really enjoyed it, even with the way the ending wraps it up, or not so wraps it up. But I know that there's like, this book gets a lot of hate for that, but I still really enjoy that cover. I mean, that looks terrifying, right? The last thing that I love on covers, on book covers, is like a night sky. And for that one, the example that I picked was Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. Highly recommend this book. But I mean, it looks like you get the trees, but you get the night sky. And I just love a book that has a good night sky. Because usually, if a book cover has the night sky on it, you know there's something dark and mysterious about to happen. You're about to be captivated by this new case, in most cases. But it's kind of dark and creepy, so you follow this family. Park Yu was this family that had this like igloo is what it was referred to as, that would help autistic kids get treatment. And it was a very experimental treatment, but they basically went into this igloo and had like this gas mask type of thing on while the treatment was going. It was about an hour-long treatment, once a week, I think. But this story has so many different layers because you follow the anti-experimental drug moms. Like, there were these people that were against the igloo because they're like, well, if your kid was born that way, don't you think that God wants them to be like that? How could you change the genetic makeup of your child? Then you have the people inside the igloo, the hospital, the health facility, whatever. You have them all in there when it explodes and there's a big fire, and one of the patients dies, and it happened to be a child, and you are following the legal ramifications of this case. So it's like afterward in the courtroom, and each suspect or witness that goes up to testify, they're going to retell the same story that you just heard. So it does get kind of repetitive, but you slowly kind of get different pieces that the person before them didn't have. And a book that can make me question a mother as a killer and make me question, like, I had no idea who did it. At one point or another, I thought I suspected every single person. And it was just such a good and touching story about, like, would you change your child if they were born with something like autism? Or do you think that they should be able to be who they are? Do you see it as a disability, or do you see it as just part of them? And then it also talked a lot about culture and it's like small town vibes. And I love a good mystery that takes place in a small town. I love a good romance that takes place in a small town. I just like small town books. But this was Korean, so it touches on like being a Korean American, what that means, and it talks about their culture, and it hits so many different points and talks about so many different things in here that I went in thinking, oh, okay, like, it's really hyped, because at one point when it first came out, it was very hyped. So I found it and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna like it. It's way too, like, it's overrated. I could not put this book down, and I cried so bad. I sobbed my eyes out. I don't think I talk about it enough on my channel, but Miracle Creek is perfect. And, like, just look at that cover. That's just beautiful. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you're excited for these, like, Wednesday 5 or something, whatever I end up calling it, then let me know in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.